Okay, today I'm going to talk a little bit about a little more complex perfume and a little more complex herb. My perfume I'm talking about is Ormonde Jayne, Vetiveria. The herb I'm talking about in the perfume is Vetiver. And the tarot card I'm going to pair this with is Strenghth, but also from an oracle deck I have, I'm going to pair it with Inner Core and Earth. I'll work through some of the symbolism and some of the herbal constituents as we kind of talk through the video. But first I am going to talk about Vetiveria, the perfume. This is by Ormonde Jayne. The opening is clean and bright and a little bit sharp. It is definitely lime forward and also juniper forward. I don't know that most people get that, but because where I live, juniper is very prevalent, I can smell the juniper for sure. The lime is definitely a very tart lime. I wouldn't say it is sweet or syrupy. It's very much an herbal and dry scent coming out of the gate. The dry down does open up a little more sweet to the more rich and woody aspects of the vetiver, with sweet and earthy notes like fresh mowed or dusty hay is what it smells like to me. It's definitely more unisex and I would say more neutral. Slightly sweet, but I wouldn't describe it as an overly sweet or very sweet scent at all. I think it'd be an easy wear in summer or to the office. It could definitely be layered with a floral scent or something more sweet if that's what somebody wanted. Like a nice rose scent would probably go well with it. Overall, to me, it smells like a very good quality gin and tonic, but not necessarily boozy. But you get that kind of herbal, tonic taste, that kind of bittery, herbally, medicinal quality with it, which is nice and refreshing. But it can get a little heavy when it dries down, and that kind of like when a gin and tonic can get kind of warm, it can get a little syrupy, a little bit like that. The longevity is so-so for as pungent as it is and as much vetiver as there seems to be in it. I would think it would last longer, but I don't find it lasts all that long, except for maybe some of the more woody aspects of it. But that sharp and clean opening definitely doesn't last long. It's interesting and complex and earthy. Do I love it? I don't know that I love it. I love the energetics and symbolism more than the actual perfume. I love the bottle and quality of ingredients. But as a perfume, for me, it's nice, but it's missing something. It's missing like just the right floral note for me, or something that adds another layer that it just doesn't quite hit. But it is a very good quality and very nice perfume. So I can't really criticize it, but there's just something a little more that I would like. The main herbal note I want to talk about is definitely vetiver. Now, vetiver is a big plant to talk about, especially when you're talking about perfume, so it's a bold choice. But I can't talk about perfume without talking about vetiver, so we're going to do it. In perfumes, vetiver helps stabilize many other constituents of smells. It really can create a beautiful base to a lot of fragrances and kind of hang back. Some people say it overpowers. I don't know. I'm undecided on that one. Overall, as a smell, vetiver on its own is rich and earthy and kind of woody. It is also highly versatile. So people can say, oh, vetiver smells like this, but it smells like a number of different things depending on where it grows, how it's grown, and how it's prepared. Because the root itself can create over 300 terpenoids. A terpenoid is a kind of flammable, volatile oil that's created in a number of trees, like pine, like when you smell that fresh pine scent. That's the terpenoids that are coming out. It's what was used to create turpentine and mineral spirits for cleaning paintbrushes and a number of other things. So, fun fact. These are likely the reaction to microbes living in the soil and the plant's natural defense to these microbes. It is also kind of like a chemical warfare among microbes, because the symbiotic relationship with the microbes and the vetiver root work together, so the microbes can use the plant's constituents to repel other microbes that it doesn't want in its ecosystem. So it's kind of a chemical warfare, and this reaction with the roots and the microbe is what creates the smell. So depending on where you are in the landscape or the world, the soil and the unique microbiome can be very different and create different smells. Thus, it can smell very different from location to location. The roots can go 3 to 4 meters or more into the soil. So in US feet, that is 10 to 13 feet deep. As a very rough estimation, soil can accumulate at 1 foot in 10,000 years. So when growing a vetiver plant, it can reach down through stratified soil 100,000 years or more, depending on the type of soil and how it's created where you're at. So that's a huge amount of time. It is estimated that vetiver as a species has been on Earth millions of years and evolved at a time the Earth was cool and dry, with the earliest fossil records pointing to tropical region of Asia for its origin. Essentially, grass roots are made up from similar cells as the above-ground woody portion of trees and hold similar woody constituents, and have evolved through time, that the earth couldn't support trees, who for the most part have very shallow root systems given their size. Symbolically, the trees went underground. This isn't literal, so don't quote me on this. But trees and grasses have a number of other differences too. Vetiver has been cultivated all over the world, especially in India, Madagascar, and in Haiti. Some of this can be linked to the French and enslavement of African people. However, Haiti's role in perfume and the love of perfumes goes much deeper and has outlasted the French. And the first perfumes likely originated in Africa, not France. Although it is fair to say all cultures around the world utilize plants and their smells throughout history. In some cultures, particularly in India, vetiver root holds religious significance. They are used in religious ceremonies and offerings believed to possess purifying properties and promote spiritual well-being. Vetiver's fragrant roots can be woven into mats and curtains, offering a way to cool down homes in hot climates and repel insects. I'm picking out a few key points in my own take on some symbology today. For the tarot card, I am pairing it with Strenghth and the number 13, and 2 oracle cards, Earth and the Inner Core. When you look at the number 13, if you break it down in numerology, it's 1 plus 3 equals 4. So that can be stability, focus, pragmatism, independence, and building of a secure future. So 4 is really a number of stability. But what does that mean in 13? Because 13, is a number on its own. So you have 1, which is the self or the origin, and then 3, which is a number of transformation. So you have really the transformation of the self, like integrating the self into a more secure and stable version of the self. So it's really a card of transformation, although people don't really talk about it that way. And it holds a point of destiny or turning of destiny. So people want to talk about 13. Oh, it's a lucky number. Oh, it's an unlucky number. I don't want to get too much into the number of 13 because that's a whole nother can of worms. But I think of 13 as a turning point where luck can turn, either good or bad, because there's a point of transformation for the self in that number. And so even sometimes bad luck can turn into good luck, and good luck can actually be bad luck, but that's whole nother point. But within the card of Strenghth and transformation, you see the woman has the lion and the infinity symbol above her head. And so really it's about how true strength comes from a deep understanding and integration of self. When out of balance, it can turn into fragile ego, where our fears and desires run us, or are more kind of primitive parts of ourselves. And then we try to dominate and control others, where true strength comes from really knowing ourselves. If we look at that in relation to vetiver, and the root that goes down through the soil through layers and layers of time, those layers and layers of time are what's died on earth, and the decay of everything dead, and those roots are really integrating dead and decaying matter into new life and growth. And so we can see those roots winding through history and growing from what is already dead and integrating that to create something beautiful. On the surface, it may not look like a lot's going on. It may not look remarkable, but it holds firm and allows water to infiltrate. And also the line of vetiver roots can stop fire. So there's a protective element when we're strong and well rooted in where we come from and the earth that we grow from, and integrating what's past and who's past into ourselves and being. So it is a call to remember our own roots and our own dead. It is a call to transformation and transmutation, what is around us growing firmly where we are. It is deeply grounding and offers stillness. It is also protective. So that's my understanding of vetiver. So in that, it's not flashy or loud, but stabilizing and rich. In kind of closing, I want to share a spiritual bath of luck, which fits with the number 13. This is a little bit of my own personal adaptation. You can adapt it as you see fit. Let's see. So this is a number of changing luck for good or bad. So first, this is a bath that you could take over. You could start it on day 1. I think personally I would like to take it for 3 days, but you could do it over 2 days or in a 24-hour period. I'm not going to get too much into baths, so this is going to be a very general overview. You can take and adapt it how you see fit. So the first day in the morning, what I'm going to do is, because vetiver root is dry, typically when you get it, unless you live where it grows fresh. And with any kind of dry plant, you want to heat it up and wake it up. So you're going to pour hot water over it the morning of the first day. You will pray over it, talk about, kind of what you're hoping for, what you're needing, what you're looking for, what you're wanting to bring into your life, and what you're wanting to protect, because you want to protect your luck too. So you'll do that in the morning of the first day. If you want to, you can, put a candle by it, put a candle on top of the jar. I will say when you put hot things in jars and try to burn candles on top of them, you want that in a separate container because the wax gets hot on the bottom and falls off. But so you do that the first day. The morning of the next day, you're going to add your fresh herbs. Fresh herbs I like to prepare with cool water because they're already alive and awake. So if you add hot water, it can kind of dampen that life force that they already have in them. If you're not comfortable with super, super cold water, it could be lukewarm or cool, but I definitely wouldn't add hot water. So some things that you could add to that is mint, fresh marjoram, vetiver tea that you steep the day before, and fresh basil. You crush that up in cool water, think of like a big bowl, and then you strain it. If you wanted, you could drink a little bit of it in tea and talk into it. Some baths you can actually drink. Herbally, this is also good for inflammation and digestion. You certainly don't have to drink it, and if you wanted to add other things, you could. If you're not going to drink it, you could add a little bit of white rum and perfume. Depending on the kind of luck you want, you may add flowers specific for that or other herbs. Like, for example, if you want luck and love, you might add some pink rose petals. Or if you want luck in a court case, you could add marigolds. Those are just a couple suggestions. There's many, many more. You're going to pray, you're going to shower and clean yourself well, and then you're going to pour this over yourself. or wash with it, depending on how you like to do it. Alternatively, you could put it in a spray bottle or a spritzer bottle that you carry with you in your bag and spritz with it a little bit throughout the day like you much would with a perfume. If you're going into a job interview or something, you know, you could spray yourself down a little bit with it. It's not going to be as strong as a perfume, so people aren't going to be overpowered. You could put a little bit on your hand if you're going to shake somebody's hand. And most people aren't going to think anything of it because it's a little basil, a little mint, a little vetiver, maybe some flowers. It's not going to be anything, you know, too overpowering. So another thing you could do if you wanted with the vetiver root, and it's nice outside, is you could steep it in the water, close it in the jar, and set it out in the sun for the day to collect the energy of the sun. So that's what I have to say about Ormonde Jayne, Vetiveria, vetiver as a plant, and the Strenghth card, number 13 in tarot.